Hello my favourite people and welcome back. Thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'm doing a full face of one brand, and the brand today, ladies and gents, is Huda Beauty. I have 3 palettes here from Huda Beauty that I picked out today, and I'm gonna be honest, I think 2 of them are not coming back, but I'm hoping that the Naughty palette is still available because I know that she changes them around, and I know the Rose Quartz is the most recent one. So I'm gonna give you a close-up and you can see it's got some really gorgeous like shimmery tones in there, some gorgeous pinks, really soft like light purpley champagnes, golds, you know, browns, all that kind of stuff. Eye is primed. Obviously I've gone for like a lighter, much lighter one. I just feel like when you go with something that's a little bit more whiter, it makes the colours look more opaque and stand through. So yeah, I use quite a light eye base. This is not by Huda Beauty, but everything else is going to be. The only things that won't be by Huda Beauty are the eyebrow and the primer. Okay, so the first shade I'm going to go with is this really kind of deep sort of aubergine, purpley, browny kind of colour. You can see it there. So just before I go in my eyeshadow, I'm going to quickly go in and get rid of any little creasing that might have just happened with that primer. I'm going to use a super small brush, and I'm just going in on that inner corner. To be fair, like Huda Beauty eyeshadows, especially like the matte colours like this one, you always do get like a really good payoff. The only ones that me personally that I've kind of struggled with are the kind of like glittery ones. Those ones that I've always kind of found that you need to use your finger to get a good result. You know, I don't mind using my hands and fingers, but you know, like when you're getting ready for a night out or you're going out somewhere for a meal, whatever, and you don't really want to get like glitter on your hands, because I don't know about you, like I'll get glitter on my hands and then I'll forget that I've touched something, and then I'll get it on like my dressing gown or something that I'm wearing, you know? Okay, so this has just been put on either side. I know it don't look really the most even right now, but when things are blended out, that's all that matters really. Next up, we're going to use the Desert Dusk palette. I'm going to go for this kind of purple shade right there. I don't know if this one is still available. Like honestly, I don't know, because I know the rose gold one has been discontinued. This is going to be used to soften those edges, add that pop of colour, make it, you know, more purple, more intense. If you've used any Huda Beauty products, what is your favourite? What is your like holy grail? For me, it would have to be the powder. I love that powder. I think it's great. Honestly, it's so flawless. Like, it's so gorgeously flawless. So yeah, that's just starting to soften it up a little bit more now. I was thinking maybe to do a full face of e.l.f. makeup in the future. Let me know if you want that. If there's any products that you absolutely love from e.l.f. I've heard that their camouflage concealers are meant to be like really, really good. Just going back in to intensify that first shade. Clean blending brush now to go all the way through the top into that brow, blend those edges. In the center, I'm gonna go in this sort of champagne gold color. Just before I do that, we are gonna go with a little bit of whatever's left on that brush from the primer, and I'm gonna look up and let that kind of create its own little shape, and then just kind of go like that. So it has a little bit more to stick to, you know. I cannot wait to do the base makeup. I love doing base makeup. Like, don't get me wrong, I love doing eyes, but I don't know about you guys, but obviously I don't really wear dramatic eyes as often as I used to. Do you remember the days when like everyone would be going out of like cut creases and all of this stuff, and now we're just a little bit more minimal? Yes, I know, do you agree? Whatever's left, I always bring up a little bit and bring it into the brow bone and blend it into the blended colours. Grabbing a little bit of the black from the Rose Gold Remastered palette. Can you see how much I've used this palette? It is a mess. These tiny bits are going to be popped right in the corners. Then I'm going to use the first shade just to go on top and blend that black out, just to really intensify it. I was looking at it and it looks so lovely and soft, but I was like, do you know what? I want to make this a bit more dramatic. See what I'm saying? Just to make it a little bit more intense. When I wear my eyelashes, I think it's gonna make it pop a bit more. I'm gonna clean this outer area out and then blend this part in as well, so it just look a lot cleaner when we got that done. Okay. Next product is the Eyeliner Quick and Easy Precision Liquid Liner. Okay, that was a long mouthful. So basically this was used on me in the makeup counter video. And the makeup artist in that video was telling me how she absolutely loves this liquid liner. She loves how small and fine the tip is. I will zoom in so you guys can see just how small and tiny it is. And she said it just really helps her get super close to the lash line and gives her the best results. So I'm gonna do a little on my hand and see how fine. Oh no, she says you have to activate it, sorry. She says before she uses it, you have to activate it and push it down. I forgot about that. Okay, now let's try. Oh yeah, it is activated now. Really fine strokes. Okay, let me wipe that off my hand, because knowing me, I will end up getting that on my top or on my face or just somewhere it ain't meant to be. Remember I said I need to clean it up, okay, so please do not judge the eye right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look straight ahead and create a little bit of a line. Okay, I'm gonna just fill this in. Yeah, nice and black. Not super glossy, which I quite like. I don't actually like my eyeliners when they're really glossy. I think what I might do is I might also extend it in here a little bit and run some black liner on the waterline, but that's when we're all like done. So let me do the other eye. This looks a little bit crazy. This looks a little bit all over the place right now. So I'm actually going to use some of the Huda Beauty Glow Cocoa Hydrating Mist, and I'm going to take it on one of her Wishful reusable like cotton pads. Just going to spritz some of this on there. Kind of treat it like it was a toner. That way it's going to help me clear up fallout on my face. Like, I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but there's quite a lot of shimmer and glitter come off of my eyeshadow. Huda Beauty eyeshadows, you're going to be guaranteed to get a really good payoff and an overall good product. The shimmers and the glitters, you definitely get that bit of fallout. I've kind of used the Cocoa Hydrating Mist as a little bit of a toner. You can do that with most hydrating mists. You can use them to prep the skin, refresh the makeup. I just love a facial spray. My personal sort of like favorite eyeshadow palettes where I get really good color payoff and would be the Be Perfect Cosmetic eyeshadow palettes. Overall, I think their eyeshadows are amazing and they're probably the most used that I use myself. But we're not talking about that right now. Today's video is all about Huda Beauty, so that's what we're talking about. Okay, so I cannot actually use their primers. I don't know why, but it makes my skin react. With the eyeliner, I need to see if this is gonna crack. It's not as intense black as I thought it was gonna be, but it's got a nice enough payoff. I love how small the tip is, but I did find when I was doing my second eye, I kept having to go onto the back of my hand just to get a bit of product on there. On the fence about this right now. I need to see how it holds up. Is it gonna crack? All that kind of stuff. I have 4 shades here of the Focus Filter Luminous Matte, but these are the lighter ones for winter. So for now, I'm looking at 2 of them. I'm just gonna swatch them and see. That one is Toasted Coconut. This is Shortcake. That one is too pink for me. Just quickly had to go and grab my old one, although I should really get a new one of this because I have had this for quite some time. But this one is the shade Latte, which I think is more my colour. Yeah, instantly looking at that, that's so much more. Look, that one just blends into the hand, like you can't even see it too much. Okay, I'm gonna have to go with my older foundation today. I'm gonna mix a little bit of Toasted Coconut with Latte, because Latte looks really good, but my face is a tiny bit lighter, so I'm just gonna mix a tiny pump of the lighter shade into my darker one to get my perfect colour. I haven't forgotten I need to put my eyelashes, but I'm just gonna do my foundation. I'm gonna go in with a foundation brush, a flat one, then I'm gonna buff out, and then I'll also have a sponge to make this look more skin-like as well. Now these foundations are really good and long-lasting. Of course, when it comes to foundations, everyone's gonna have their own opinion. Remember, this one is that bit thicker. When you have a thicker foundation, of course, it's a little bit more likely to sit in those areas. It just depends if you need that fuller coverage or not. I'm going for it today because, of course, you know, I've done the eyes a little bit intense. Grabbing clean blending brush, I'm going to blend it in the corner of the eye so it looks nice and diffused, and I'm also going to be putting concealer there anyway, so I'll have to do this again. This is what the foundation is looking like. Obviously you can see it is more on the matte side. You don't really have a lot of light bouncing back, and bearing in mind I have got studio lights around me, you know, so when I wear a matte foundation, sometimes the studio lights can make it look a bit more luminous than it actually is, but it's just because of all this lighting. You can see that it is quite matte, and of course it is that full coverage, but I have to say, for a full coverage foundation, it doesn't feel cakey on the skin. I've worn some before and they just feel a bit heavy on my skin, and this one doesn't, but it is a little bit more on the matte side. So if your skin is extremely dry, I would avoid using this. Now I'm gonna just spritz my sponge with some more of that hydrating mist, because honey, I do not like my face to be too matte. Now I'm gonna go around and just add a little bit of hydration into the skin before I go in with my concealer and stuff. So now I'm looking more and more like a witch. Sometimes I feel like when I have no definition in my face, when I got that foundation, it just like blanks everything out and just makes me look like washed out, and then I got these dark eyes. When she first came out with her eyelashes years ago, I used to use them all the time. I'm pretty sure there was a style called Noelle, and they're really dramatic, you know, like I wouldn't wear them now, but back in the day when we was loving a little bit more harsher contour, you know, really harsh eyebrows, I used to rinse those eyelashes. I don't even know if she still has that style or not. Anyways, for today, I'm going to be going in with the style Hoodie. I like the fact that they're quite separated. Of course, I'm going to measure them up, but I already know they're going to be way too big for my eyes. Okay, I'm going to look down. They're way too long. I'm going to start by removing one. Whenever you trim your eyelashes, always trim from the outer corner. These are really long. I didn't think they're going to be this dramatic. I think I have to trim a bit more off. See how much I have to trim off my eyelashes just to fit my eyes. Perfect. I've just got my little mirror here. I need to bring it close to get my eyelash on. So I'm just going to look down and slot that on. The other day when I was getting ready for the ASOS Beauty Awards, so I cut my eyelashes, right? And then I glued them and then I put them on the side. And as I was just like moving around, getting other bits and bobs while they were getting tacky, one of them just went missing. And for the life of me, I was like, where is this eyelash? I was like, what the hell? And I was like, do you know what? I haven't got time to keep looking for it, because I was looking around on the desk, I was looking on the floor, because you know how like eyelashes can just whoosh, and then they like fly away to Texas. I was like, where is this eyelash? I was like, do you know what? I haven't got time to be sitting here and trying to find this eyelash. Like, I have to get ready. And then I just cut up some new eyelashes and went with a different style. Anyway, the next day when I was wearing my dressing gown, I was brushing my teeth, and as I held my arm up, right on my elbow was the eyelash just flattened. And I was like, of course she's on my elbow. As you can see, they're quite dramatic, but this is what they look like on. I will be smoking up my bottom lash line as well, but that is just what they are looking like. Yeah, I'm gonna let those get tacky, dry down before I go in with any mascara to blend them into my natural eyelashes. And then we're gonna go with a little bit of Tantor. Now this is probably maybe my third favorite product. So it goes powder, concealer, then Tantor. Out of Huda Beauty's, all of her products. These are really good. I switch between the shade Fair, which is this one, and the shade Light. So Light I'll use mainly in summertime, and Fair I'll use, you know, around now in the winter, the colder time of the year. You can, if you want to, grab a flat foundation brush, swipe it in there, and then swipe it along the cheek. But sometimes I just like to go in with a fluffy brush like that. I like to just pick the product up like this. I feel like it just buffs it out so nicely. It's such a lovely product. This product blends out really well, super creamy, but then you still get that color payoff. Like, just look at that. Before, after, before, after. Really lovely product. Like, you can build this product up so you can have it a bit more intense if you want to. I'm running a bit on that onto the bottom of the nose as well. Extra product on that jawline, sweetie. Just like that, and then of course blend it down. Great product, really recommend the Tantor. Once again, back in with my good old friend. This is a Real Techniques beauty sponge, but Huda Beauty does have one. I actually have that, but it needed to be washed, so I couldn't use it for this video. Back in to soften that all up and really melt that into the skin, where I'm getting so many breakouts right now. Love that. Okay, concealer time now. This is the Overachiever concealer. This is really full coverage. I'm a very big fan of this concealer personally. This is one I already have, and I've used this in many videos, and I've also shared this product in monthly favorite videos. Now I'm just gonna go in. As you can see, the shade is lighter than my foundation, but not drastically light. And if I feel like I've gone too light, I'll just always add a little bit of darker concealer on top. So I'm putting that in the areas here, areas here. Being completely honest, you don't need a lot of this concealer. It blends out so nicely. So I'm just gonna pat that out and then bring that down. I will go with my beauty sponge though and bring it up on the chin as well. You might hear some snoring in the background. That is my dogs. Sponge time. Have you ever watched that RuPaul's Drag Race and you see the way that they're like beating the powder into the face? I love watching that program, especially for the makeup stuff. I think their makeup looks stunning. So actually I'm just bringing that up just to lift the face. I actually have boxing tonight, and sometimes when I do like purple or like pinky eyeshadows, they always stain my lids. So that should be interesting, and I'm gonna have to try and scrub this makeup off before I go out. This is a concealer and what it's looking like. Very full coverage, especially with that foundation. But if you guys can see on camera here and here and here and there, maybe a little bit there as well actually, I've got a few breakouts. You can see that it really has taken away the discoloration of them, and I haven't had to use any correctors. I will be using 2 powders, okay? But this one I'm actually going to use at the end as a final dusting, final touch, because that is what the makeup artist done in my Huda Beauty makeup counter video. So that's what I'm going to do with this powder, and in the meantime I'm going to use this one here. This is the Easy Bake loose powder in the shade Banana Bread. Get a little bit of that and just pop it in here. I think this powder is actually so flawless and it looks so good, and if you want to use a setting spray and then just dab a little bit more on after, looks sick. No, seriously, there is a hair around my nose and I need to get it off. Real quick though, I am going to quickly blend in the inner corner of the concealer into the eyeshadow as well. Me personally, I love to use a damp beauty sponge to apply my powder. I feel like I get the best results and I feel like it really helps pick up that powder as well. So I'm kind of doing like a little bit of a baking method. I like this powder because it's kind of like an off-white with a sort of creamy yellow tint to it. If you just look how flawless that makes the skin look. No words. No words. I'm gonna bring it up underneath the cheekbones as well. As you can see, I've kind of pressed it in, right? But there still is a little bit sitting on top and I'm gonna leave that until I've done my bronzer. And then that way I feel like it just blends everything in really nice and looks quite smooth. I do have the glowish bronzers and I did a video on these when she brought out the tints. But I'm gonna do a little bit of a mixture today. We're gonna mix it up and I'm gonna use the loose powder once again. But as you can see, I'm gonna use this in a darker shade, in the shade Cinnamon Bun. So I'm gonna tap the product on there. Now with this, of course, it's gonna pick up a whole bunch of product. So I need to just tap that out so it is quite fine. Not just gonna blob a whole bunch of powder on my face. I'm gonna go around and dust that. And as you can see, that powder just looks really soft and you can go in to use it to blend away the lighter setting powder. Oh yeah, sexy. So that is what that darker setting powder looks like blended out onto the skin. It's very fine. Just remember to tap your brush, otherwise you're gonna go straight on and it's gonna be a bit more on the face, show me. Now I'm gonna use one of the glowish ones. Now this one is actually in the shade Deep Tan, but I like this because it has a sort of pinky tone to it. My favorite is 03 Tan, I think it is, but I'm going to use this one today because I don't use it as often. With this being a Huda Beauty full face, I thought let me actually use some products that I don't always use and some that I do, so we kind of can test things a little bit out. Now as I said, this one has a pinky tone and you can see that there. So I'm just going to go on top of the nose, on the bridge, on the tip, and then I'm just going to pat that on there as if it was like sun-kissed. I feel like this is just going to lay down the groundwork for my blusher. I clearly don't have enough makeup on today. For blush, we're using the shade Caring Coral. This is obviously by her Glowish brand. Because this is quite small, I'm going to go in for a smaller brush. Just going to concentrate a little bit more on certain areas. On the highest points of the cheekbones. So from here and up. Now I'm going to grab my beauty sponge and I'm just going to go underneath that cheekbone just to help that still look a bit more defined. Do you know what I mean? Cool. I'm loving how flawless, how full coverage this is, but I just want to add a tiny bit more hydration. So I'm going to grab this spray here and then I'm going to spray this on and then quickly fill in my eyebrows off camera. That spray's really weird. Like it's kind of like in a line in a way. I wish it kind of just misted it a bit differently. Oh, okay, it sprays it in 3 different bits. Okay, that's why. I'm just gonna let that sink in and give my skin a little bit of life, and I'm quickly gonna do my eyebrows off camera. I'm just using that black shade to blend out my bottom lash line. Also filled in my eyebrows, did them a little bit more, you know, intense than normal. I'm just gonna use one of my other blending brushes that I previously used on the eyes. Soften that up. Soften that. Then I have the Huda Beauty mascara. It's got the curl and length and the volume side. The curl and length is my personal favourite side. This is what the brush looks like on the curl and length side. And this is what the volume side looks like. I just feel like with this one here, too much product comes off. So I'm just blending my eyelashes into the false eyelashes. I'm not adding too much product. I'm just gonna go along my bottom eyelashes just so you can still see them. Now we're going to lip combo, and deep down, I did want to use this, right? Now this is the shade Terracotta in her lip liners, but I use this so much that I was like, no, we're not going to use the same one today. No, we're going to be different. I've got 2 lip liners here. This one is muted pink and this one is rich brown. As you can see, rich brown is literally what it says, a really nice deep brown. And then this is muted pink, which if I'm honest, that's way too pink for me. I'm going to use rich brown, but I'm going to try and blend that into like a nudie pinky brown sort of colour, so it's not as like chocolatey, because I don't really think it'll go with the eyes too tough. These lip liners are so creamy, look at that. Why am I kind of liking this? I feel a bit like vampy vibes. This is a liquid lip I'm going to use in the shade Venus. I'll put that in the centre and then kind of like blend into the lip liner. A part of me kind of wishes I had a purple lip because I think that looks so sick. I actually really like this lip combo. It's giving me like 90s kind of witchy vibes and I'm here for it. Last step that the makeup artist from the Huda Beauty makeup counter did was use the glowish powder on any areas I needed. To be fair, the makeup is so full coverage that personally, I don't really feel like anything is needed, but I might just go over a few little areas just for like the sake of the video. The glowish powder is supposed to be like really luminous and light. So I'm just gonna put a bit more on my chin, around the nose, and a little bit along there. You tell me if you think it's making a difference. Oh, it does have a sheen. Can you see that? I haven't used highlighter on my cheeks today because we've got such a full beat look that I just don't feel like highlighter is needed at this point. Personally, I think this would be nice when you want a bit more of a soft luminous look and you didn't have already powder on. But I just wanted to try it the same way that it was used on me because this is a product that I haven't really explored too much of just yet. I don't know, I think the only thing it's done is kind of give me a little bit of a sheen here. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling witchy 90s vibes right now and I am absolutely here for it. This lip combo, I love it. Imagine just a little black wing eyeliner and this lip and some lashes and glossy. I think I look so nice. Okay, so yeah, this is the look complete. I'm gonna give you guys some close-up shot, show the eyes, the skin, everything in general really, so you guys can get a little look without me talking. Me personally, I like to know what people recommend when they do these full face videos, yeah? These are my top Huda Beauty products that I recommend to you guys from everything today. Let's go. Number one, ladies and gents, is gonna be the lip liners. My personal favorite is the middle shade Terracotta. That's what I recommend you to try. But of course, you can look at her lip liners and see if there's a certain shade that you like. You know, we all have different preferences. Very creamy, long lasting, great pigment, and yeah, recommend them definitely. Next up, which probably ain't gonna shock you, is the loose powder. I personally have two favorite setting powders, this and then the Laura Mercier one. They're my top two of all time, pretty much. Then we got a little tan tour moment and it just blends so nicely like butter onto the skin. And even if you like soft makeup, you can use this. Definitely recommend the tan tours, I love them. And then last but not least, we have the Overachiever Concealer. Really good full coverage. If you're someone like myself who has any sort of discoloration, or you like a full coverage under eye concealer, or whether you have breakouts and you just want something that's full coverage to cover those as well, any sort of thing like this, this is a really, really good one. And I find that you don't need too much of it, so it does last quite a long time. This is my full face of Huda Beauty. Like I said, I'm really liking the makeup. It's giving me like 90s witchy kind of vibes and I'm here for it. And also I like doing different looks, do you know what I mean? Like, of course I love soft glam on myself and minimal vibes. Sometimes we've got to switch it up and just let the creative juices flow and go with it, and that's what we've done today. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, click the notification bell because some days I slightly change my upload, but I upload every single week. Thank you for joining me. Sending love and good vibes, light, all that good stuff to every single one of you. Subscribe, like, comment. See you soon. Bye.